Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool here, back with another Epic 7 YouTube video for you guys today. And today I have another should you pull video for you guys. And that banner that is coming is going to be right after the Flan banner. So Flan's banner, as of this video being recorded, has 20 hours left. By the time this video comes out, she'll probably have about, I'd say like 13 hours left. So if you really wanted Flan, if you guys were curious about how I think Flan is and if she's worth pulling for and if her artifact is worth buying from the powder shop, check out my other video talking about her and Zahhak. But yeah, Flan is a really good cleave unit for PvP offense and also good for Wyvern one-shot. But the banner that's coming right after Flan is none other than Sigret. So Sigret, if you guys didn't know, is the best unit to get from the selective summon or the reroll from the start of the game, and that is for basically one reason, but it's a really compelling reason, and that reason is that she is the best DPS by far for Wyvern 13. For early game players, she will lower the gear requirements by a lot for your DPS to kill Wyvern, because Wyvern 13 is a lot different from Wyvern 1 to 12, because not only do you have to obviously kill the boss, but you also have to keep debuffs on the boss so they don't one-shot, or he doesn't one-shot your DPS units and will focus your tank. Now Sigret's really good because she has 2 debuffs in her S2, and then she has 2 debuffs in her S1. So technically she can basically solo debuff the boss if you don't get really unlucky and don't, miss your debuffs on the boss from the random 15% ER and stuff like that. And also she has a exclusive equipment that you can get from Hall of Trials that will increase either the damage or even the percent chance of the bleeds landing on your S1. If you're not one-shotting, guys, you're going to want the second version of the Sever exclusive equipment, not the damage one, but the bleed chance. But yeah, overall, Sigret, very powerful unit. The reason why Wyvern is considered a very important milestone is because it is going to be the first area of content that you can farm for gear, and it makes her a very viable option from the start of the game, from the reroll, because of that reason. She is going to be your most used unit in PvE content, especially when you're like repeat battling hunts. You're going to use her all the time for the majority of the entire game, actually. And that's why you really want her on your roster. Now, if you didn't pick her up from the selective summon, you're really going to want to pull her on her banner. Now, I do know that there is a limited banner coming next week after Sigret's banner, which is going to be Fairytale Tenebria. And you guys might be saving your bookmarks, especially as an early game player, because everyone says save your bookmarks for limited units because they come out approximately once every year. The thing is, I think Sigret is way more important for new players, because 1, you can use her throughout the entirety of the game, and 2, she will make your Wyvern run so much faster, saving you so much more time. And she also will enable Wyvern one-shot, which is a requirement for late game to, not lose your mind farming Wyvern over and over, because without Wyvern one-shot, the runs take like 2 to 3 minutes. With one-shot, it'll take less than a minute. And Fairytale Tenebria is not used in PvE, 1. And 2, she's a very late game PvP unit. And 3, she's even fallen out of the meta quite a bit because of Angel of Light Angelica, and there's a lot of counter units nowadays. So you don't really want to try to prioritize Fairytale Tenebria over Sigret, especially if you don't have Sigret, because that Fairytale Tenebria is a limited unit, because Sigret will have usage for the entirety of the game no matter what. And even late game, I think Sigret will be used way more than Fairytale Tenebria, even though they're used in different areas of content, like Sigret's PvE and Fairytale Tenebria's PvP. You're always going to be doing PvE no matter what, even if you're a late game player, very late game player. In fact, you're probably going to do PvE even more because you need better gear to replace your already very good gear. And Fairytale Tenebria doesn't come out that much anymore. You don't see her in defense. You can maybe use her in offense, but it's very rare. Most of the time you use her in RTA, but even then there's a lot of counters. Like even Fallen Cecilia is a pretty hard counter to her, and Fallen Cecilia is a very meta unit, right? So yeah, Sigret, very good unit for PvE and PvP. If you look at my stats, this is kind of the stat line you're going to want to run for the one-shot. If you're looking for a normal Sigret build, where you're just using her in Wyvern 13, right, as a main DPS, not one-shotting, you can put her on speed set with effectiveness set or crit set. Usually effectiveness set is best. And you're going to want to run her at about 300% crit damage, 35% crit chance if you're running her with Furious, about like 180 speed, 170 speed. A bit faster is better actually, and then you're going to want to run her at 65% effectiveness so she can stack her bleeds, and then the rest goes into attack. If you're on a really budget build as a new player, just aim for as high speed as possible and as high effectiveness as possible at 65%, and then aim for, you know, as high crit damage as possible as well. You only really need speed effectiveness at 65% and then crit damage to make her work. You don't really need attack and anything else. Obviously, you want crit chance at 35% as well, so she crits all the time. And then you just run her on Daydream Joker, and she'll be very, very strong on your Wyvern team. Now, that being said, I'll say it again. Sigret's banner must pull. I think, you know, if you are trying to think about right now if you should pull for Flan or not, or even Zahhak, right, and you have like 1 pity left, or maybe like not even 1 pity left, but you're like struggling to get enough bookmarks, and you're thinking about saving Fairytale Tenebria, you do not have Sigret, I just really recommend pulling for Sigret because she will make your Wyvern team a lot faster, a lot safer, a lot more consistent, and will enable your Wyvern one-shot late game. So even though you already have a Wyvern 13 team running right now, she will basically make it a lot more faster. So over a long period of time, it'll save you a lot more time on your phone and your computer, and will also allow you to do more things in your day. So I think Sigret's a very, very good unit. I think she's a must pull for everyone. When I first started Epic 7, I did not have Sigret from the reroll, so my Wyvern team was literally a super free-to-play team with Misty Chain, Angelica, Furious, and Alexa. And once Sigret's banner came around and I pulled her and I started using her, the runs were way more consistent. Now, even if the speed was only a little bit faster, the fact that she has so many debuffs makes the run so much more consistent, because some of your runs will fail no matter what, but Sigret will definitely up your win rate on your Wyvern team, especially if you don't have her. So I think she's a very, very, very good unit for Wyvern one-shot. Not Wyvern one-shot, Wyvern 13, and she is required for Wyvern one-shot for the most part, unless you're going to use like a Rem team, but usually you don't want Rem in PvE, you want to gear her for PvP, because she's very good there, and Sigret has a similar gear requirement. And that being said, she's not really used in PvP. You can technically use her as an RB counter if you run like a fast Alon's booster, because her S3, as you can see, has an extinction, meaning that RB can't revive after. But for the most part, you won't ever see her. She's going to be your Wyvern slave, but everyone's a slave to Wyvern anyways. We're all Wyvern slaves if we play Epic 7, so keep that in mind. Now, her artifact, I think I have a copy actually. I might have actually powdered it, but it is Cradle of Life. I don't have it, okay. Basically, it's bad. Don't pull for it. I think the effect it does is going to be, it puts a random debuff, or a chance for random debuff on warrior units, and people use it on Sigret and Wyvern. It's really bad. In Wyvern, you're never going to want to use it, even though you're thinking, oh, more debuffs, Wyvern needs debuffs. That's good, right? No. Daydream Joker is going to be all of your damage for Wyvern. This will probably do about 70%, 80% of your damage on the boss, because the Wyvern boss has like 100, like 20k HP or something like that. I think a little more actually. And you're doing percent damage, and this damage, by the way, it's not listed, but it scales with crit damage. So that's why in PvE you're aiming for super high crit damage when you run Daydream Joker, because it'll make the percent HP damage shred do even more. By far the best PvE artifact in the game for Wyvern 13 for Sigret, and Cradle of Life is just not good. If you don't have a Daydream Joker, you can use it, but what are the odds you don't have a 3-star artifact, right? So don't buy the Cradle of Life. If you get copies, just hold on to one in case it gets buffed, because it's probably going to get buffed because it's pretty trash, to be honest. But even then, if you can even dust it. That's what I did. I think I got like 3 copies and I just powdered it, right? Because, yeah, I could not use that artifact anywhere. But yeah, that's pretty much it for what I think about Sigret and her artifact, guys. Just to recap, Sigret must pull. Definitely worth skipping Flan and Zahhak for, because those two are not limited units, and I think Zahhak's pretty good in PvP, especially late game, but early game you're not going to get much usage, and Flan's kind of similar to that, and Flan's mostly for cleavers. Sigret's just a way higher priority as a new and mid-game player for sure, and even a late game player if you don't have her. And for Fairytale Tenebria, although she's a limited, you can go both ways, right? You can say, oh, Fairytale Tenebria might not come back for a year, which is true, but Sigret is just going to progress the speed of your game so much that it's probably worth having to wait another year, honestly, if you plan to play long-term. But if you're not going to play long-term, you're just playing for fun, you could just pull for Fairytale Tenebria and pray you get Sigret somewhere else. But I just really think Sigret is a very, very important unit. Like, the difference I noticed when I pulled for her, from when I didn't have her to when I had her, was just crazy good. It made me actually not hate playing Epic 7. Like, when I didn't have her, it was kind of a grind in Wyvern, right? Because the runs take forever, it would fail a lot. With Sigret, it speeds it up, and also makes it more consistent, so you don't feel as bad because you're not watching your Wyvern team run over and over again on your phone. You can actually play the game and do other stuff like PvP. So, yeah, pull for Sigret, guys. I really recommend it. You guys don't have to if you guys want to save for Fairytale Tenebria. That's up to you. Or if you want to pull for the other units that are running right now. But I really recommend pulling for Sigret. I think she's a must-have unit no matter what, especially if you didn't pull her in the selected summon. Her artifact's pretty trash, don't pull for it. And yeah, that pretty much sums up her banner. So if this video helps you out, guys, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and thanks for watching. Peace.